the X-ray beam passes through the patient, X-ray photons may be transmitted, scattered, or absorbed. The majority of the photons entering a patient undergo Compton scattering, and these photons often have enough energy to exit the patient and interact with the image receptor. Unfortunately, these scattered photons contain no useful information and often create fog on the image. This undesirable density decreases radiographic contrast, an important diagnostic quality of the image. A device which is used to overcome this problem is a grid. The grid is designed to absorb scatter radiation after it exits the patient and before it reaches the image receptor, so it is placed between the patient and the image receptor. A grid is made of a series of lead strips which, due to their high atomic number, are able to absorb the undesirable scatter photons. Separating the lead strips are strips of radiolucent material such as plastic or aluminum. Due to its lower atomic number, the interspace material allows the desired transmitted photons to pass through the grid and expose the image receptor. Grids can be designed with varying amounts of lead in them. An important factor in determining the amount of lead in a grid and its ability to absorb scatter is grid ratio. Grid ratio is determined by dividing the height of the lead strips by the distance between them. Lower grid ratios result when less grid material is used. In this case, the height of the lead strips in the second grid is only half the height of the first grid. Therefore, the grid on the right also has a lower grid ratio. This change in grid construction affects how well the grid absorbs scatter radiation. Higher grid ratio grids have taller lead strips or less distance between the strips. Therefore, higher ratio grids are able to remove more scattered radiation than lower ratio grids, as shown here. In order for a photon to pass through the grid material successfully, it must be traveling in a more forward direction. In this case, the severely scattered photon is completely absorbed by the higher ratio grid on the left. However, in the lower ratio grid on the right, it is still possible for the scattered photon to pass through to the image receptor and fog the image. As a result of increased scatter radiation absorption, higher ratio grids are better able to prevent image fog and produce higher contrast images.